All right. That was pretty basic. Let's see if we can add some more coordinates to this thing. See if that helps us out. So the next one will be at 82, 362. I'll do 3 coordinates now. That looks pretty good. All right. As I mentioned, I pre-looked at all of these, so that's a pretty basic pattern. 202, 202, 262. Notice I'm just adding 60 each time. 322, 382, 442, 442, 502 will be my last one. 62. This one's even easier. You just keep going back and forth. 22, 362, 362, 22. That's not a 22. There it is. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. We're going to do 16 coordinates. I'm going to go ahead and let this run all the way through just to make sure that it's actually going to all the spots. If I got any of these numbers wrong, I should see them deviate from one place to another. So this is the 0 spot where they start, then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, and 15. Since we start counting at 0, there isn't a number 16. It ends at number 15. Cool. It looks like that's working. First time I tried to do this took me a long time and a lot of trial and error to get the numbers exactly right. The next idea I want to take a look at is the idea of trying to create a state for our user interface. So I'm going to create 2 different tower buttons. The first one is going to be, well, I'm going to create 3 tower buttons. One which is starting the wave, which is going to be necessary. The second one is going to be creating a tower 1 button, and then the next one will be creating a tower 2 button. And those 2 buttons will basically toggle which state of the towers you're going to be in, which one we're going to create. So actually, why don't I go ahead and start with a wave button. That's probably going to be pretty useful here shortly. Let's keep track of which wave number we're on. I'm probably going to want to create something that keeps track of how many enemies there are. So how many enemies there are for wave 1. You may eventually want to create an array or a series of these variables for if you create other waves. And then the total for this particular one, I'm going to create 10 in mine, just as an example. And then I'm probably going to want to keep track of whether or not the wave has started. That'll allow me to basically reset the wave button once the wave is done. All right. I don't really want to have X and Y coordinates and updates and collision checks and all that. So once again, I think I'm going to want to set up my buttons in the draw event only. Now, I probably want this to happen after my objects have gone, though. So the path needs to be drawn so that objects can be drawn on top of it, but my towers are not going to be placed over the top, so I think I'm going to create it here. So what am I going to draw? Well, if the wave hasn't started yet, so if wave started is false, I'm probably going to want to create a button and some text over the top of it. So I'm going to fill in, I'm going to want a color for this. How about wave not started color? That seems pretty reasonable. It's kind of wordy, but oh well. And then I'm going to create a rectangle that's going to go from the X and Y position on the right side, kind of here. over here is where I'm planning on creating the wave started button, and then the first tower button, the second tower button, maybe something that draws the state. And then of course my base will be down here. And now that I think about it, I'm probably going to want to have all of these values used in multiple places, or at least relative to one another. So once again, I'm going to kind of use that same idea of constants, or at least variables up at the top, so that it's all in one place and easy to find when I want to get to it later. So where were my colors? There's my colors. So I'm going to create a wave, not started color. And I want it to be kind of reddish, but not completely red. Why don't I do this? I'll do like 150 for red and not make it totally dark for the other two. And actually, while I'm here, this should be equals color of that. While I'm here, let's also create a wave started color. Color. And this one is going to be kind of on the greenish side, so same pattern as this guy, except I'm going to put the 150 in green. And after these colors, let's go ahead and create the values for where my button is going to be. So my wave button's X is going to be at, let's see, I'm ending about 502, so maybe about 520. This is going to start at maybe 10 or so just a little ways down. And then I'm going to make this a little wider so it's easier to click on. I'll set this at maybe 80, a little wider than my 60 on the path earlier. And then the wave height is going to be 60. So now that I've got all those, if I go back down to my draw event, my draw event's getting full. So now that one should be good to go. And the rectangle is hopefully going to be pretty easy. It's just going to be those 4 variables I just created. Wave button X, wave button Y, wave button width, wave button height. Those are the names I used, right? Width, height. All right. There we go. Maybe I'll put some text on here so that I can actually see what it says. Ooh, I want to change it back to black. I don't think I have a black color yet. I'll make that in just a sec. And the text I'm going to say is going to be start wave, and then I'll say which wave it is. And this will be based on the wave button's X, so if I decide to change it later, it'll be changed in one spot instead of hunting down in my code where I placed all this. When I'm doing user interface design, often this is what I'll do, is I'll create variables for all of these, so I can just change the values at the top and adjust where I'm placing it, and it makes it a lot easier, a lot shorter. So this black color, let's put it next to white color, is color, except that it's zeros across the board. That's good. Oh, wave 0. Haha, we started at 0. This should be the wave number +1, so normal humans would think that you would start at wave 1. I should probably make it so that if I set this to false, I draw the other button now. How am I going to actually click on it though? Well, I'm going to need to actually change something in a mouse press event. Let's see, mouse press, there we go. I'm only going to do this if the mouse is in that exact position. I'm not going to worry about the button moving around or anything, so I can just use the absolute mouse X and Y position to check to see if you click on this. So if the mouse X is greater than the wave button's X, and the mouse's X is less than the wave button's X plus the wave button's width, So that's to see if it's between the left and right side. So now I also need to check to see the Y position is between it. So if mouse Y is greater than wave button Y, and the mouse Y is less than the wave button's Y plus the height. So that will let me know if I've clicked. I'm going to probably want to move the alarm event in here now that I think about it rather than the controller. Let's take this one out for now. We're going to want to put it down here probably. Dot set alarm 3,000 seconds. So 3 seconds. Wave started will be true. Oh, and I probably should update the wave count, shouldn't I? So wave number is 1. I suppose this should probably be plus equals 1, but yeah, we'll get to that later. All right, so it went away because I haven't drawn the other half of this button. So if it's not wave started as false, then it must be true. That's how Booleans work. Fill with the wave started color. It should be that greenish color. And then same rectangle. Let's just grab this. It's basically the same stuff as here. Same X and Y position. Still going to set this to black. And then instead of this, I'm just going to say wave. Oh, I've already added one down below. I no longer need this plus one here. And it starts. Oh, did it not start when I didn't click it now? 1, 2, 3. Cool. All right, now we have a wave button.